It's Wednesday, November 1st, which means officially 20 months to go to retirement. However, this video clip is the last clip for my October countdown to retirement video. So on Monday, I picked up James Alexander Thom, Panther in the Sky, hardcover. It was pretty much in brand new condition, $2. I have the paperback, but I figured for $2 that's worth getting. Just wish I had more space for everything. I still have books I have to put away from the last few weeks. Okay, what books did I read during the month of October? A new book, Blood Brothers. It's by Deanne Stillman, and that's a book about the friendship between Sitting Bull and Buffalo Bill. I did not care for this book too much. There's quite a few errors in it. It's the author comes off as a bit of a new age type of person who thinks she communes with horses, and not my kind of book. Then I read, well, this is not really in sequence, but I read Far as the Eye Can See by Robert Bausch. I liked that book about as much as I liked Blood Brothers. I really didn't care for it too much. That was a Western fiction. Thunder in the Dust, which is a book of photographs from Western movies. I believe the photographs are John R. Hamilton. He was the photographer. He passed away. And the text is by John Calvin Batchelor. And the text, the photos, a lot of the photos are pretty nice, but the text by Batchelor was subpar. He really seemed to not care for the Western movies. He just seemed to be putting them down. Everything was pretty much negative what he was saying. Just didn't really care for what he had to say. Drums Along the Mohawk by Walter Edmonds. Those first three books, 2-3 stars, mostly 2. The Drums Along the Mohawk, 4 stars. That's a pretty good book. I have not seen the movie. I mean, bits and pieces of it, but I don't really care to even see it. I know the book's better. From what I remember, it's like, one of these not too accurate. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like The Big Sky, which is an incredible book, and the movie with Kirk Douglas really sucks. I've seen parts of it. It's not a good movie. It does not represent the book. And from what I remember of Drums Along the Mohawk, it's pretty much the same. It just can't capture what's in the book. So I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. Roads from the Fort. I'm almost finished with that book. It's a book by Arvid Schulenberger. I have about maybe 30 pages to go in that book, and I could just pretty much rate it now. I'd give it like 3 stars. It's a book about 2 soldiers in the late 1850s from Fort Randall in Dakota Territory, and they leave the fort to hunt, and they're supposed to get a pass for like a week, and they end up, well, at this point in the story it's not over yet, but they pretty much desert with these 2 Indian women, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of chapters, if they go back to the fort or they stay as deserters. What thing that really bothers me about it, well, first I looked up the author, and one website mentioned he was Jewish. Then I looked at his grave marker, and there's a cross on it. I'm a little bit confused. I don't know if the guy's Jewish, Christian, converted. I don't know what happened. But one thing in the book that he wrote, I'm going to quote it. It's from page 169 of the paperback version. This is a Lakota Indian speaking. Sioux Indian. Then white men came from the rising sun. Where was the Yankton God? Yankton is a tribe of Sioux. No place. All gone. White man's God every place. He is a God that is some good. Okay, so like the Indian can't speak perfect English, so he's saying he is a God that is some good. So basically he renounces his own God. That God's nowhere. White man God is very good. Kind of pisses me off. I'm not sure that a Native American chief would say that. I don't know. Just kind of bothers me. So that's about it. Movies. I mean, that's about it for that book. But now the movies that I watched for the month of October. I watched quite a few, 25 movies. So I'm going to just take them in sequence and give a rating. I'm not going to really tell about the movies. Maybe in retirement, I'll do more in-depth movie reviews if I have time and the wherewithal to do it, the motivation. But right now, these are the movies that I watched. No Man's Woman with Marie Windsor from 1955. I gave it 3.5 stars. Love Affair with Humphrey Bogart from 1932. I gave it 3 stars. Blast of Silence with Alan Barron from 1961. 4 stars. Dishonored Lady with Hedy Lamarr, 1947. 4 stars. Evelyn Prentice with William Powell and Myrna Loy, 1934 movie. 4 stars. Ramrod, a Western with Joel McCrea and Veronica Lake from 1947, 3.5 stars. This is out of 5, by the way, out of 5 stars. Manhattan Melodrama with William Powell and Myrna Loy and Clark Gable, 1934 movie, 4 stars. Daytime Wife with Tyrone Power from 1934, 3.5 stars. Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. This was several parts to that movie. From 1995, I gave it 5 stars. Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley from 2005, I gave 3 stars. Blonde Ice with Leslie Brooks from 1948, 3 stars. Daybreak with Ann Todd and Eric Portman from 1948, 4 stars. The Scar, which is I also looked up, when I looked up the movie, it said it was also known as Hollow Triumph, with Paul Henreid, 1948 movie, 4 stars. Gone with the Wind with Vivien Leigh and Clark Gable. What did I just say? Well, it's Gable. Came out funny. 1939 movie, 3 stars. That's a surprise, right? It was good. It's visually interesting to look at, but I just thought it was a 3-star movie. Sorry. A Farewell to Arms with Gary Cooper and Helen Hayes, 1932 movie, 3 stars. Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeves and Jane Seymour. Despite the fact that the movie doesn't make sense totally, it's a 1980 movie, I gave that 3 3/4 stars, so not quite 4, but close. Double Harness with William Powell and Anne Harding from 1933, 4 stars. Stagecoach with John Wayne, 1939. I gave that movie 3 stars. I'll tell you why. I'll take a moment here for that one. It's kind of fresh in my head. There are things about that movie that bothered me. Like, for instance, they're in the stagecoach, and the stagecoach is like going hell-bent for leather across the plains, and they show inside the stagecoach, and like nobody's bumping around. John Wayne's even like sitting on the floor of the stage and talking, and it's just like, why didn't they get some people on the outside to be rocking that stage back and forth? It was just kind of weird. And then really like bothered me most was an Indian attack towards the end of the movie. I mean, the white characters were taking like one shot and like 2 Indians would fall off their horses. It was just ridiculous. I mean, like the fight scene was just crazy. I guess for its time it was very exciting, but it just came off foolish watching it. I'm not saying don't watch it. It is a good movie. Maybe groundbreaking for its time, but I can only give it 3 stars. Where am I? And Now Tomorrow with Alan Ladd and Loretta Young, 1944 movie, 3 stars. Calcutta with Alan Ladd, 1947 movie, 3.5 stars. The Legend of Walksfar Woman with Raquel Welch from 1982, 3 stars. I had problems with that movie also. Some of it takes place in the 1870s, and whenever they kind of have background, it's not a historical movie, but when historical incidents cross paths with the movie, it's not really very accurate, and their whole little bighorn battle was not in reality. That By the way, the movie is based on a book by Colin Stewart, and I read another book by him which I really liked. I don't remember the name of it right now. Pretty good book. It was a coming of age story on the Blackfoot Reservation, I guess in the early 1900s. Shoot an arrow, stop the wind, something like that. That might be the name of it. I don't remember exactly. I don't have the book to The Legend of Waxhaw Woman, so I can't say how the movie compares to the book. The movie had some interesting parts that I like, some of it I like, but I'm just giving it three stars. The Amazing Adventure with Cary Grant, 1936, 4 stars. Morocco with Marlene Dietrich and Gary Cooper from 1930. I gave that 5 stars. I liked that movie. Shanghai Express with Marlene Dietrich, 1932. I gave that 4 stars. There was something in that movie, if I remember correctly, was it that movie? I get confused. I think the reason one thing that turned me off was there was something to do with religion in that movie. I felt that was it that movie? One movie that I watched, it was something where I felt that the person there was a reverend in the movie, and speechless for a second. Trying to remember what I had to say. The reverend in the movie was confused. Might have been Shanghai Express. The reverend in the movie was confusing faith in a person with religious faith, they're 2 different kinds of faith, and so he was using it to demean science. But his I don't remember the exact thing that happened, and I'm not even going to swear that it was Shanghai Express, but I do remember that the reverend character misrepresenting faith, which is a frequent thing. Yes, it's the same word, but it's not the same meaning. Like faith in a person, faith in a wife, is not the same as having religious faith. It's just not the same thing. Why? I mean, just quickly, religious faith is belief in a story that's so unreal, it's like crazy. Whereas, I mean, your wife or a friend is a person, and whether or not you have faith that they're going to do something for you, it's different. It's not. It's within the bounds of reason to have faith in a person or not to, if they haven't proven themselves trustworthy. But faith in a religion, that's just having to believe in things that are just clearly out of everyday existence. Just don't seem possible. Okay, and I maintain are not possible. And no religion is true that has a supernatural God who created everything. It's just crazy. Okay, last movie of the month that I watched yesterday, Touch of Evil with Orson Welles and Charlton Heston. I'm not a big fan of Charlton Heston. That movie was from 1958, by the way. And back to Charlton Heston now. He was the wrong guy for this part. He was playing a Mexican. They had a mustache on him. I don't know if it was his or fake, but he just isn't a Mexican. And didn't ruin the movie. It was still a good movie. I'm not a fan personally. He passed away. His politics and pro-guns, and I'm not like that. And so he kind of, I don't like him for those reasons. But it was a good movie, and I'm not going to downscore it because of him. But I don't, or his politics and his pro-gun stance and stuff. But I don't think he fit. I don't think he was the right fit for that movie to play that part. I gave that movie 4.25 stars. It was a very atmospheric and good movie overall. Had some little issues with it. I don't even remember what they are right now. So that's it for the month of October, which is now officially over anyway. Today is November 1st. And we have 2 book trips planned for this month, for November. So one of them is to a book sale upstate, and it's actually being held in 2 different places. So I'm real excited. I can't wait to go. I just wish I could be in two places at once. That's the problem. How do I get to two places at once? October's over. Can't believe it. 20 months to go. I started this video series with 41 months to go, so I've passed the halfway point. And the New Year's is going to be the really big time, because then it's 18 months to go, and so that's like my next big in my countdown, my next big point that I want to get to, and I cross off my list of objectives, not objectives, but what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blank. I had a long day. Milestones. Milestone. Next big milestone is New Year's. So, and then once we get down to a year, that's going to be really fun. And then 10 months, 9, 8, the final countdown. Bye. It's Wednesday afternoon, November 8th, and since I'm home today, it's a good time to do a little catch-up video. My wife and I took off today because we had some furniture being delivered that was at her mother's house, and her mother died in August. So we took some furniture and had some put in storage and sent elsewhere. So we took off today to take care of that, and that's all finished now, and found a place for a storage cabinet that she had in our apartment, and some other things went into a storage bin that we have. So let's get to the books. Okay, picked up this at Strand yesterday, James Bond Moonraker. It was in very good condition. 50 cents. Technically it's 48 cents plus 4 cents tax, so I just say 50 cents. Let's see here. This I got at Strand, I think on Monday. The Silent Salesman by Michael Z. Lewin. I read like the blurb and started to read the first page, and I liked the writing. So, not a major investment. What the hell. Then I also got this at Strand, Where the Ghost Horse Runs. This is part of a trilogy. It's by Alfred Silver. There's 2 other books in this series, and so now that I got this one, I've occasionally seen one or the other of them, and just never bought them for some reason, but this was in like really nice shape, and I figured I'd get it. Looked interesting, skimming the pages in the book, so put that over there. And then this I bought in Strand. It was $17.95. It's a brand new book, but it's a reissue. Film Noir. It's published by Taschen. They make some nice photo books. It was still in the shrink wrap. It was, like I said, it was still in the shrink wrap, and for $17.95, that was like about half off what it's going for new, which it was new. But if you buy it, in like Barnes and Noble, it would be double the price. So cool book. And then, as I've kind of got into the Jane Austen movies, and I still have to read her books, which I have 1 or 2 put aside for this coming year that I want to read. But I picked this up, the double DVD. Persuasion and Sense and Sensibility. These are from like the mid-1990s, around 1995, 1996 they were made. Haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And this weekend we're going to New Jersey, and then another bookstore upstate New York. And then next weekend we're going to a couple of library book sales in Poughkeepsie. So that's going to be fun. So the next 2 weeks we got trips planned. And counting down to retirement, so 19 and a half months after next week. I'm already ahead to next week. Let's just get through to next week and get half this month pretty much over. Not that I'm trying to rush my life by. I don't want to be accused of that. But I am looking forward to, on a Wednesday, being home like I am right now, doing what I want to do. Who doesn't want that, right? So, till next time, bye. It's Thursday night, November 9th, and time for an unexpected update. I really wasn't expecting to make one until Saturday night, because we're going out Saturday, and I'm sure I'll find a few books. But I did find 3 today, and so I thought, I have some time, let me do a book video. I even shaved. Okay, so I got Bogart's Face. This was $2 outside at Strand. It's a slim little book. It's in very nice condition, and basically it's just pictures of Humphrey Bogart. I do have to put a clear jacket on it, which I didn't do yet. Then I found this today, quite surprisingly, Lord of the Plains by Alfred Silver. Now I found another one from this series. It's a trilogy, and now I have 2 of the 3. I got one for $1 the other day at Strand, maybe 2-3 days ago. Might have been Monday. And today I found this one. I was looking desperately for the 3rd one, thinking that'd be awesome, then I could have all 3 of them. But I did not find it. And that was Lord of the Plains by Alfred Silver. Then, this was really cool. I was actually getting ready to leave. I was going to go in and pay for the 2 books you just saw there, and I was going to head back to work. And one of the employees came out with like a hand truck with books on it. And so I just started to look real quick as he was walking by me, and one book caught my eye. And it's a book that I had found previously in a store, and my wife purchased it. And I think it was like maybe $5, $6, $7, somewhere around there. So I saw this book, which I'm going to show you in a second, and it was in shrink wrap still, and it was $2. Really nice. I mean, I was surprised. This is the kind of thing you don't really see every day. I was just right place, right time. Real art, great posters from the golden age of the silver screen. So I put a broad art clear jacket on it. And basically this is just, let's just open up here carefully. It's just all movie posters, and there's some text, but mostly it's movie posters. Real nice, $2, big heavy book. I was really surprised. You gotta go every day, and you gotta be lucky. But you can't be lucky if you don't go enough to have luck work for you. So, plus it's some exercise. I get out, I get away from my desk, and do some walking. So that's it for today. I'm not going to do a video tomorrow, even if I find something at Strand. I'll just wait till Saturday when we come back from our trip to 2 bookstores, maybe 3 bookstores, we'll see. Till then, bye. It's Saturday night, November 11th, and welcome to the next update for my November Countdown to Retirement video. So on Friday at Strand, had a pretty good day. Only got 2 books, but I got a really good deal. So first, these were outside for $2 each. Let's see, The Men Who Wore the Star, The Story of the Texas Rangers by Charles M. Robinson. I think he passed away at cancer. I think he passed away a few years ago. So this was in excellent condition. And then, growing up, like 1980s, I was really into Iron Maiden and a lot of heavy metal, and I still listen to it, but I don't really still buy the new stuff coming out. I can catch it on the internet if I want to, usually on like YouTube, but I don't listen like I used to. So Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden had just wrote a new book, and he might have been at Strand doing a signing. I think last week he might have been there doing that. So they had a lot of copies, and this was outside. It's not signed. First what happened was I found one copy, and it was all messed up. Like the whole bottom was like smashed in. All the pages were bent. It looked like something got dropped on, like something heavy came down on it. I don't know what happened. But I saw the book, just the spine. It looked fine. I pick it up. I'm like so happy that it's outside. I thought maybe I might even have an autograph. And then I see on the bottom it's all smashed. I was like, oh man, put it back. Not even a minute later, on another book rack outside, is this. And I pick it up, thinking like something's got to be wrong with it. It was $2, and I'm like looking all through the book. What's wrong with this book? Something's got to be wrong. But no. couldn't find anything wrong with it. I went in to pay for it, and the cashier even looked at it kind of strange and called the manager over. And they're like talking, I hear them like, well, should we sell it to him for that price? And like, well, they have to because it was outside for that price. Now, if it was, an accident and they put out a $10,000 book, I would say, okay, I understand that was a mistake. So inside the store, they were selling this for about $26. I got it for $2. I said to them, it's not really right. That was the outside price, and I don't know if that was what made them sell it to me for that price, but I did get it for the $2. They honored the mistake, because that's what it seems to have been, a mistake. So, new Bruce Dickinson autobiography, $2, brand new, at Strand, outside. And then today we went to 2 used bookstores. One is a bookstore attached to a church, and they also have a thrift shop. Very good prices. And then we went to a library bookstore. It's attached to a library. So what did I get? I got here 11 books, and I paid about $10 for all of them. So first let's go over the paperbacks. Now my son has to read for school any day now. He's going to be starting The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. He has a copy, but we like to read along sometimes, so for 50 cents I figured I'd just get a copy of that. Okay, then Fletch and the Man Who by Gregory MacDonald. I have this in hardcover, and I'm not sure if I really need to keep the hardcover, so I figured I'd get the paperback and maybe I'll get rid of the hardcover. That takes up more space. Then I picked up, as you may know from watching these videos, if anybody's been watching them, I've been a little bit into Jane Austen lately. Movies. I haven't read the books yet, but I expect them to be good. I picked this up today, 50 cents, Emma. And this is with a new introduction by Margaret Drabble. I kind of like the way that people used to speak back then. It's kind of interesting. And to think that, like, a real person thought about, these stories and wrote them down. I find that kind of interesting that this woman was really into this and wrote these, and I think it's amusing. I don't know, I like it. So life was different then. It's interesting to, through her eyes you see what life was like back then, because I believe that it's like a mirror of the times. And I like the way they speak. I don't know if I'm going to understand all of it. I might need to, reread some of the paragraphs now and again to make sure I understand the meaning, but it should be fun. Then I picked up C.S. Forester, Beat to Quarters. This is book number 5 in the series. Although on the back, I was looking at it real quick, it says that the first book written, I think, was Beat to Quarters. But it's actually 5th in the series. It says the first book was Beat to Quarters, chronologically the 5th volume in tracing the career of Hornblower. So I have now 2 books, Horatio Hornblower. The series, the BBC series from the 1990s is really good. I'm not sure the guy's name that's in it. Can't think of it right now. But it's pretty good. I've watched just the first one so far, and it was excellent. Wake Island by Duane Schultz is a paperback, again, 50 cents. World War II book, history book. Pretty cool. I like the cover. And then I already have Edgar Allan Poe books, but it was in nice shape, 50 cents, and had some, looks like some stories in here, not his regular horror stories, but like other writings that he had done that I don't think I have, or some of them anyway, look new to me. And so I picked this up. It's The Fall of the House of Usher and Other Writings. And it's a Penguin classic. Although that's, of course, a raven on the cover, not a penguin. Okay, now for the softcover books and the hardcovers. So I got some nice stuff here today. The Lions of Iwo Jima by Major General Fred Haines and James A. Warren. The Lions of Iwo Jima. I think that might have been $1. Pacific Alamo, comparing this battle, the Battle for Wake Island, to the Battle of the Alamo. And this is by John Wukovitz. It's got very good reviews. It was in excellent shape. I think it was $1. Could have been $2. I don't remember. And another Jane Austen. This was pretty cool. I'm surprised to have seen it on the shelf. I think it was $1. This is Pride and Prejudice, and it's a DK Classics Illustrated. So the inside's kind of fancy. Pictures, hard to see, but excellent shape, and if it was used very tenderly, which I appreciate. Then I picked up 2 more here. Islands of the Damned, A Marine at War in the Pacific by R.V. Burgin with Bill Marvel. And this is, of course, fighting the Japanese in the Pacific Ocean, World War II vet. And last, but not least by any means, this had excellent reviews. It was in great shape. It was $1 or $2. I'll guess 2. The World Within War. America's Combat Experience in World War II by Gerald F. Linderman. And I got really good reviews online. I need a drink. So all of that, except for the first 2 I showed you, which came to $4 in tax at Strand, which was The Men Who Wear the Star and the Bruce Dickinson autobiography. Putting that aside, all the other books I showed you came to about $10 and change. Pretty good, pretty good. Now I need to find places for all these books, and I do not have the space, especially for the World War II books. I don't know what to do. I already have a pile of books building up behind the camera right now that I just don't know where to put them. I don't know what to do. And next week we're going to 2 library book sales upstate New York. Ugh, I can't wait to go. But putting everything away is going to just be mind-numbing. Ugh. Bye. Saturday night, November 18th, and I have not made a video in a week, since the 11th. We went out last Saturday, and usually and I had bought books that day and made a video that night, and usually during the week I find at least 1 or 2 books at Strand. I found nothing this week. I came close a few times, but I just didn't buy anything. So today we went to 2 library bookstores upstate New York, and I did buy 13 books. So let's go over them. If you've been watching my videos, which is a silly thing to say because really at most a friend of mine is watching the videos, but nobody else, and he doesn't really watch consistently. I don't blame him. So you know that I've been watching the Jane Austen movies and buying some of the paperbacks, and if I see a nice hardcover or an annotated edition, I'll get it, but mostly the paperbacks. And so today I did get a few of them. I haven't read any of them yet. I'm hoping that they're good. I expect that they will be good. I kind of like the way that they used to speak back then, so it's kind of interesting to me. And so in the coming year, I hope to read 1 or 2 of these books. So today I got a few Jane Austens. These are the same title. They just have different introductions or afterwards. So this first one is Northanger Abbey, which is a story unto itself. When I made my first video mentioning this book, I called it Northanger, and then I was all embarrassed because I thought I said it wrong. I heard someone pronounce it Northanger. It's like, I'm a stupid American. What do I know pronouncing it Northanger? But then I was watching a movie, this movie from 2007. It was really good, and they pronounced it Northanger. So they didn't say Northanger. So I don't feel so stupid anymore. Because it does look like Northanger. That's how it's... if there's a local pronunciation, then the movie missed it also. So anyway, these have two different... they are different because they have different editors or introduction written by. So this one is edited by Anne Ehrenpreis. And this one is Elizabeth Hardwick. So 50 cents each. Good deal. Then I got Sense and Sensibility. And this one is an afterword by Patricia Meyer Spacks. Sense and Sensibility. Mansfield Park. By the way, Sense and Sensibility and Mansfield Park, I think these were the two I was missing from the collection of novels that she had written. So this one is introduction by Margaret Drabble. And this was cool. This is some unfinished or just not very well-known works of Jane Austen. It's Lady Susan, The Watsons, and Sanditon. Sanditon. I'm not sure how you say it. And this is edited and with an introduction by Margaret Drabble. So it's kind of like 3 works in one book. And then for a non-Jane Austen paperback, I got C.J. Cherry Hammerfall. It was like in excellent condition, 50 cents. I don't have that one, so that was a good find. Then I found this when I was getting ready to leave. It was just a last minute find and purchase. This is a life, myself and the other fellow, a life of Robert Louis Stevenson. I guess this is meant to be like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which he wrote along with Treasure Island. And it's written by Claire Harmon. Got good reviews online. It was $1, nice shape. So I wanted to get that. He was, I don't know if he would have used the word atheist, but it says in the book that he did not believe in Christianity, and so that kind of helped sway me to get the book, actually. Then I have this book, and I'm going to show you. I have a version of it for the movie Robin Hood. It's like a script with some explanatory material about the movie, I guess, or background information. So this is the one for The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It was $1. It's a nice shape, and it's by James Naremore. I guess you might pronounce it Naremore. I doubt he pronounces it Narmore or Naremore. It's probably Naremore. So Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It's got some introduction here with information about the movie, and then it's a script of the movie. So pretty cool for $1. Then this here, Alamo in the Ardennes, and this is by John C. McManus. It's a World War II book and got very good reviews. He's written some other books on World War II. Put a nice broad art jacket on it, and forget whether this was $2 or $4, because one of the library sales the prices were a little bit higher than I'm used to for a library sale, but this might have been $4, come to think of it. But it was in such brand new condition, perfect. It was not a library book for sure. It was only being sold at the library. This book here, Shadows at Dawn, a Borderlands Massacre and the Violence of History by Carl Jacobi. Now, I have this in hardcover and softcover, but it was in beautiful condition, brand new, no markings on it. I mean, I just had to get it. So it was $4, and I wish it was less, but I had to get it. This is a book I've read in the past. It was $2. Life in the Far West by George Frederick Ruxton. Hardcover, $2. There's a little tear in the jacket up here. It's hard to see. I put tape on it, some high quality tape on the back side of it. So, and the book itself is fine. Nothing wrong with it. pretty much excellent condition. And this is a great book. For $2, I had to get it. And then 2 left. My wife found for me. Found this one for me. It's signed by the by the author. So it's Gods and Generals. This is based on a movie. Actually, it's kind of weird. It's paintings by Mort Kunstler, Kunstler, and text by James Robertson Jr. And James Robertson Jr. signed the book. It was $5. It's like brand new. It's got beautiful paintings, which you can see on the cover. There's some glare, but you can see the paintings on the back. And yeah, let's see. And then there's narrative by Robertson. Yes. So that was a good find, $5 for that. And last, I didn't have this, surprisingly. It's Masters of Western Art by Mary Carol Nelson. And it says, subtitle, Learn the Working Methods of 12 Contemporary Painters of the Western Scene. This book is from, was it 1980 something? So it's not so contemporary anymore. But it's from 1982. But Howard Turpning is in here. James Clymer. Let's see. Got a few names for you. Excuse me, John Clymer, not James Clymer. James Boren. John Clymer. George Marks, never heard of him. Stephen Nagel. Gene Parrish. Gordon Snidow. Howard Turpning. There's some others. And pretty cool for $2 for this book here. It's in great shape. So there you go for today's. Where'd my stylus go? Here it is. So that's it for today's purchases. 13 books, and now I gotta find places to put them. Plus, my wife bought maybe 4 books, and my son bought 4 or 5 books. So everybody had a really good time. Ate at a nice restaurant, and just had a great time. Collecting books it's expensive. But you go out for the day, you have a good time. Used bookstores are a lot of fun, and that's about it. So till next time, bye. Oh, one more thing. So we're more than halfway through November, quickly coming up on 19 months starting December. 19 months to retirement. Never forget the goal. Bye. It's Wednesday night, November 22nd. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and being a vegetarian, I will be eating salmon. So I do eat fish. I like salmon. Okay, so Saturday we're going to 2 bookstores, at least 2 bookstores in New Jersey. And tomorrow I'm off from work. Friday I'm off from work. I always take a 4-day weekend for Thanksgiving. And today I did not find anything at Strand. However, I'm making a video, so I obviously found something. Monday and Tuesday I did buy 4 items. 3 on Monday and 1 on Tuesday. So let's go over those. First, I think these are pretty cool items. Everything was $2. This is I'll go for this one first. This is an auction catalog of movie posters. It's in excellent condition. It's from Christie's East, December 1992. So thought that was pretty cool. I'd never seen anything like that before. I've seen auction catalogs, but not like dedicated to movies. And this one was also dedicated to movies. This one's from 2001, October, and it's from Christie's Los Angeles. And on the back is a picture of the day the Earth stood still, the art for that. And I do have that movie and need to watch it. And of course there's Scarface on the front. Then also on Monday, I picked up by Victor, and I think his last name it's either Stenger or Stenger. I'm not sure how he says it. And it's called God and the Multiverse. subtitled Humanity's Expanding View of the Cosmos. Victor, like myself, is an atheist, and this book looked interesting. I have so many books. I do hope to read this. I don't know when, but I do hope to. Then, this was a good find because this is the one Billy Wilder book that I didn't have that I'm aware of. Like when I'm looking through Amazon or eBay, and this title comes up sometimes. Wilder Times: The Life of Billy Wilder by Kevin Lally, Lally. I do have like 3 or 4 of the books about Billy Wilder, and like I said, this was one I didn't have. It's like brand new. I don't know why it was outside for $2. I was like looking at it like, what's wrong with this book? Something has to be wrong. Not even a publisher mark, nothing. It's just out there, and I found it. A lot of competition outside sometimes, and so I was lucky to find it. I don't know what happened to the stylus, but this video is done. Oh, here it is. So I don't like touching the screen if I don't have to. That's it. The month's almost over, and Saturday I'm sure I'll be doing a video. I'm bound to find a few items on Saturday, a few books. And this month is almost over, almost down to 19 months. And one more thing, counting the actual work days between now and June 2019, it's hard to get an exact count, but I'm guessing it's somewhere between 370 and 400 days. My official countdown is down to 399, but that's like, it was an estimate that I made a few years ago that I've been crossing days off when I go to work. Could be off by a little bit. Like I said, it could be off as much by like 20 or 30 days over. I hope not under, because that would mean then I have to do more days when I'm done with my countdown list. I don't want to do that. But it's going pretty quick, although, the bad part of that is life's going by pretty quick. So I do try to enjoy my days and read as much as I can, watch movies, and just enjoy myself. These videos are just meant to kind of be like a video journal that maybe one day I'll look back on and watch, or my kids or grandkids will watch someday, because I don't think I have an audience. I mean, I know I don't. And I doubt they'll ever be discovered. These videos, they're kind of boring, really. I'm not the most interesting person. I think I'm interesting in here, but just showing books that I purchased. I don't know how interesting it is to people. Anyway, that's it for this video. Till next time, bye. It's Sunday afternoon, November 26th, and time for another update. This will probably be one of the last updates of the month, maybe another 1 or 2 before the month is up. So yesterday we went to 4 bookstores, 2 in Philadelphia and 2 in New Jersey. The 2 in Philadelphia were bust. I didn't get anything. And coming home, we decided we were going to stop at 1 bookstore in New Jersey. We decided to stop at 2. The first one that we stopped at was in our plans originally, and the last one was just like a last minute thing. And I only really did that because I felt like I struck out at the 2 places in Philly, so I wanted to see if I could make up for it. So the first bookstore we stopped at in New Jersey, they were having a sale, which we didn't know they were having. It was fill up a box of books for $8, and they had a lot of good books, the paperbacks, hardcovers, all kinds of stuff. And actually the sale had started Friday, but we got there on Saturday late in the day, probably around 3, maybe around 3 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier, I forget now, but it was the tail end of the sale, and they still had a lot of good stuff out, and I wound up getting 28 books for about $8 in tax, about $8.50, $8.60, something like that, which averaged out to about 31 cents a book. So that's pretty good. And then at the last bookstore we went to, which I'll show, the book I got thereafter, was a Farscape book, which was like about $2. So altogether I spent about $10 and change and wound up with 29 books. So it was pretty cool. So what did I get at the Fill Up Your Box store? So first I picked up a bunch of Star Trek novels. Not novels. These are the adaptations by James Blish from the original show. So Star Trek 5, 7. A couple of these I had, but it was just basically almost like free, so I just took whatever. 8, 10, 11, 12, and then I found the third Galaxy Reader. It's kind of various science fiction stories edited by H.L. Gold. And when I came home, I checked that I have the fifth Galaxy Reader. So now I have the third and the fifth. So that was it for the sci-fi, I think. And let's go to some other. Okay, here is, excuse me, shouldn't be doing that. So here is another paperback. This is The Guns of August by, it's a famous book by Barbara Tuchman. And it's about World War I. It's a nice shape. I see this book around, but I never did get it, and I figured I'll just fill up the box. This book I didn't realize I had. I wasn't really spending time looking up on my tablet to see what books I already owned. I didn't know I had this already. Gods and Generals by Jeff Shaara. And I don't know if I'll ever read it. Just skimming through it, there was one of the historical people in the book was like really gung-ho Bible kind of guy, and not really my kind of guy. Maybe I'll read it someday. I don't know. If, it's like one of those things. If there's like nothing else left, and I've read everything, I'll read this. We'll see. Then I got Many a River by Elma Kelton, Western, and this is about two brothers. One of them is taken captive by Comanches, and this is kind of like the life the two of them grow up to have, I guess. So, nice shape. And then this was just, I probably wouldn't have bought this otherwise, but it was just, fill up your box. So, Wake of the Red Witch, Garland Roark. There's a little, little clip down here, like the book was clipped, like a hole puncher. I guess that's why they were selling it cheap. I don't know, but otherwise it's in great shape, so that doesn't really bother me too much. Then let's see here. Hold on, reaching for the next stack of books. Okay, this book I have, but I always might as well fill up the box with it. Farscape: Ship of Ghosts by David Bischoff. And then, I'll show this book now, even though I wound up getting it at the last store. My son actually found it. I was actually looking for this book. I'm always looking for it. And I was in this store that we went to after the bookstore that was having the sale. And I was looking through the Farscape area. I was looking through the author's name alphabetically. And I didn't see it. And it turns out it was not put in the right spot, I think. My son found it. So after I had finished looking, I'm looking somewhere else, and he says, "Dad, do you have this book?" And it's the one I was looking for, and I didn't have it. And I thought he was kidding me. He says, "I found the Farscape book." I'm like, "No, you didn't." I turn around, he's holding it in his hands. Because I had just been looking there, I didn't see it. Dark Side of the Sun by Andrew Diamond. Now, the book itself is probably not that good. I've read bad things about it. But it's the last Farscape novel that I didn't have of the three of them. And I just wanted to get it. It's got a cool cover. I just wanted it to be in my collection. So, it was $1.80 plus tax. But, worth it. I just wanted the cover. I'll probably, I don't know if I'll ever read it. It got really bad reviews. Then, this was something I was looking for. This is going back now to the Fill Up Your Box for $8 sale. Ian Fleming, Dr. No, James Bond. I think there's maybe one other James Bond novel I need to get. I'm not sure. I gotta check that again. But this was one that I needed, so that was very cool to find. And then, since it was just Fill Up Your Box, I took this, even though I already have it. It's Thunderball, Ian Fleming, James Bond. It looks like somebody I don't know, whiteout or something on, and then over here. I don't care. It's just a reading copy. I didn't even put it in a book bag. It's in fine reading shape. Just a little bit of damage there. Then, let's get these. Okay. Okay. So then I found a bunch of Horatio Hornblower books, and I was just filling up the box. So this is Hornblower and the Hotspur. Hornblower and the, I guess it's pronounced Atropos. Hornblower. This is Beat to Quarters, which I have, and I knew I actually had it when I remember the name when I picked it up. But the cover's cool. I don't think I have this cover, so I got that one. And I didn't feel like I was like paying for each one individually. It was just fill the box up. So and I wound up leaving behind some things I should have taken. I wasn't thinking. You put something down. You're like, I'll come back at that in a second, and why even come back? Just take it. I'm just filling up the box. I don't know. I did leave behind 2-3 titles I wish I had grabbed. Too late now. This is another one, Hornblower Flying Colors. These are all like in great shape, these titles here. This cover looks similar, but it's a different book. This is Lord Hornblower. See, it's and then Hornblower During the Crisis. And the last one, Admiral Hornblower in the West Indies. And again, these are all by C.S. Forester. And continuing, I picked up, one more Hornblower book, but this is like a larger softcover one. This is Hornblower and the Hotspur, which I had before in the smaller paperback version. So, actually what happened was I had asked one of the people who works in the store if they had any more of the Hornblower books, and he couldn't find any that they were going to be putting out, but then he found this one. Again, it's like an oversized paperback, but I was just filling up the box, so I took it. Then, this Waterloo, it's like a little battlefield guide to the battle. Andrew Uffindale and Michael Coram. And it's pretty cool. I slipped through the pages, and there's a lot of pictures and information about the battle. And I guess it's like a battlefield guidebook, but as such, it has, gives a good overview of the battle and lots of quotes and things like that. And then this looked interesting. It's fictional. It's called The Secret Battle by A.P. Herbert, and it's in like excellent brand new condition. It's forward by Winston Churchill, introduction by Malcolm Brown, and again it was written by A.P. Herbert, and it's a World War I novel. Got good reviews, so it was a good find. Then, this is something I never would have purchased, but again I was just trying to fill up the box and it looked interesting. From Alexander to Cleopatra by Michael Grant, and it's like an excellent condition. It already had the Brodart, or whoever makes this particular one, probably Brodart, already had the sleeve on it, so the protective sleeve, and it's got good reviews. They actually had a few books on Alexander the Great, and I was going to get them, and I was looking them up on my wife's phone, reviews on Amazon, and some of them were really just being trash, as just having like a lot of errors, and so even though it was basically almost free to get them, I just decided, I wouldn't get them. And, spaces, I'm very limited on space. I have none. I have no space. I just find ways to like stick a book here and there, but I'm out of room. So, this is a big book. That seemed like a good find, though. And then, here's when I'm embarrassed, but it was a great condition. I liked the movie. So, I always see this book around. It already had this sleeve on it, and you're thinking, just show the book already. But I'm embarrassed. So I'll probably never read this. Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen Fielding. And again, I like the movie, so I don't know. I thought maybe if I ever watch the movie again, which I would like to, I can look parts up in the book and see if how well the book and the movie are similar or not. So it was more like, in that case, for like scientific purposes that I bought it. It's for comparison's sake. This, Seen the Glory, it's a Civil War novel, a novel of the Battle of Gettysburg. And it's a big book. Again, I already had the cover on it, the clear sleeve. And it's by John Hough, Hough Jr. Seen the Glory. And the last book, this is a large softcover book, Forgotten Films to Remember by John Springer. This is from like the early 1980s, I think, or around 1980. And it's basically just lots of pictures, there's some text, and again, it's called Forgotten Films to Remember. So that seemed pretty cool. It was in nice shape. So that was it for yesterday's book haul. I think I did pretty good altogether. 29 books for about 10 and change. It was like not even 35 cents a book. It's pretty good. The same books, I know from experience. I have a lot of experience with buying books. If I was to go to Strand and buy these books and didn't find them outside but in the store, and I'm not going to find a lot of this stuff outside, but if they had these in the store, especially like the paperbacks, they'd be like $7.50, $10, $15 each. So basically, just one paperback. I bought 29 books, just one paperback. If they were selling it for like $10 or $15, would have cost me more than everything I bought here. So really good sale. Got to get out of. If you live in a big city, or especially like New York City, you've got to get out, find other stores, sales. Just, even if not having a sale, the prices are generally better than shopping in New York City. And the stores that have really high prices, or as high, if not higher than New York City, just don't go back. Leave them a bad review online and just don't go back, because some places really, they're outrageously priced and ripping you off. They have every right to sell a book for what they want, but there's a point where you're just ripping someone off. So that's it. That's my little rant. But we had a good time, had a good dinner. Oh, I also bought for myself, for my birthday that's coming up in a few weeks, the new, because this is being recorded on a Samsung 4 tablet. I think it's the 7-inch screen, and now I bought a Samsung Tab E 9.6-inch version. So that was my birthday gift to myself, and trying to figure out how to hook it up, if I can, to watch a movie on it through the television set, either on that or the Tab 4 that I'm using right now. It's very confusing. I'm a little bit unclear on if I can do this or not. You might even be able to do it wirelessly. I'm really just unclear on what I have to do. That's called mirroring, and I don't know that I have the capability to do it. But the wires is like different tablets and different USB connections. I'm just not sure if they're all compatible with all the different tablets. Again, I've been looking at it all morning. It's a little bit confusing. If I figure out how to do it, I'll let you know, whoever you are. Bye. Hello. It is Friday night, December 1st. However, this is the final video installment for my November Countdown to Retirement video. So, another month is over. 19 months to go. Can't believe it. I'm really looking forward to New Year's, when I could say a year and a half even. That's going to be exciting. It's coming up. About 30 more days. Okay, so the last couple of weeks at Strand have really been mostly dry. I maybe found a book or two last week. I don't even remember anymore. But this week, I think I found at least one book last week. This week I found one book. This I bought, was it maybe 2 days ago? The Lost Detective, Becoming Dashiell Hammett by Nathan Ward. And it was like $2 outside. It's like brand new. And what's funny is I looked up a review online and gave it 1 star. Most of the reviews were good. But this one guy gave it 1 star. And when I read the review, it was only because of it seems his biggest gripe was a mistake that he claimed was in the book. So first of all, I searched in the index for a mention of what he was talking about, the reviewer. I searched Google Books through a text search of the book. Could not find mention of what this guy was talking about. Then I looked up the detail myself online just to see if even the fact was even correct that he was saying, and it turns out that he was even wrong. Assuming that the author wrote what he said, the author would be wrong. But the correction to what the author wrote, assuming he even wrote it, was also wrong. So the reviewer was wrong in his correction. What he was saying, I don't remember what he claimed the author said, but what the reviewer of the book was saying, this is getting very confusing. What the reviewer of the book was saying is that Red Harvest, the book by Dashiell Hammett, was like the inspiration for a Clint Eastwood movie called For a Few Dollars More. But I looked it up online, and it was For a Fistful of Dollars, not For a Few Dollars More. So apparently A Fistful of Dollars is kind of based on the book Red Harvest by Dashiell Hammett. Not For a Few Dollars More. And not for whatever book the guy in his review claimed that the author made a mistake with that, which I don't remember what it was. It might have been The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I think was what he said. And I word searched, for ugly, couldn't find it in the book. Like I say, I looked in the index for the name of the movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I looked up Clint Eastwood. I looked up Sergio Leone. I could not find. Was Sergio Leone involved in that movie? I don't remember it. I don't know. But I was looking at whatever I could think of, and it's just not in the book. I don't know. When I read it, maybe I'll come across it. It just wasn't in the index, and for some reason it didn't show up in a word search. Enough on that. So that was the only book that I got this week. Okay, and we have no book trips planned this December yet, but we'll probably go at least like 2 times to bookstores. We'll see. Especially we're off that winter break at the end of the month, so we'll do something. Okay, so what books did I read this month? I read Poe, P-O-E, as in Edgar Allan Poe. It was called Poe Land by J.C. Acker. I gave it 5 stars. I emailed the author complimenting him on the book, and he, about a week later, he responded, thank you, and wrote a few notes to me. I guess he was struggling what to say, I don't know. And then I emailed him back, not looking to be friends, not looking to be pals, just being friendly, and he could have take it another week, and I guess he didn't even want to chance getting involved in emailing with me, thinking I'd just keep doing this, which wasn't the case. But anyway, he never responded to my second email, and whatever. Is what it is. I still think the book was great, but I would probably never buy another book by him. I just wouldn't support him anymore. Future works. Okay. Then I read My Life on the Plains by George George Armstrong Custer. Excellent book. Of course, it's slanted to suit his narrative and his point of view, but it's his autobiography, but it's very telling. What he writes, what he doesn't write. He never makes mention of his court-martial. He finds ways to say that he was absent from the command, but he'll never say that he was court-martialed. He won't say it. Someone in his command killed himself. He doesn't mention it. It's just, and his writing is a bit wordy, as I am sometimes in these videos, like I was just a few minutes ago. Except I'm just babbling. He's writing a book where he can go back and rewrite it and make it more succinct, and he didn't do that. He had an interesting way of saying things that could have taken a few words, and he'd make it into a sentence or two. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was like a window into his mind, so that was kind of interesting. Okay, next and last thing for this video for this month, for November. So I watched 25. Well, 25 different videos. Some of them, maybe one or two of them wasn't actually a movie, but like a biography or something, like from like a bonus feature on a DVD from that biography show. It used to be on A&E. Maybe it's still on. I don't know. So let's just go over this from in sequence. So back on November 1st, I watched Persuasion, a Jane Austen, based on the Jane Austen book Persuasion, and that's from 2007. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I watched Hornblower, the first episode from the series back in the 1990s. It's called The Even Chance, episode 1. I gave it 5 stars. Then I watched Leave Her to Heaven. By the way, I don't have who's in these movies. It's just I'm just going over them and naming them and naming my rating, and you could look these up online if you want to watch them. Leave Her to Heaven, I gave 4 stars. Then I watched I Love You Again, which I gave 4 stars. Atlantic Adventure, I gave 3 stars. Red Dust, I remember that one. That had Clark Gable in it, and a woman whose name I just can't think of at the moment. It's called Red Dust. I gave it 4 stars. Fast Workers. The title of that movie really isn't so great, but the movie was pretty good. I gave that 4 stars. No Time for Sergeants. That's Andy Griffith kind of being like a Gomer Pyle before Gomer Pyle, and I gave that 3 stars. I couldn't really get into it. Love Crazy. I think Love Crazy and I Love You Again, which I said a few movies ago, are William Powell and Myrna Loy movies. And Love Crazy I gave 5 stars. Then I watched a movie called As You Desire Me. I gave that 3 stars. Then I watched the next Hornblower, number 2, The Examination for Lieutenant. I gave it 5 stars. Those are good movies. So far I've only watched 2. I'm going to try to watch 1 a month. That way it's kind of like a project. It takes me a while by the time I finish. Like 7-8 months have gone by. I think there were 8 episodes, so another 6 months to go for that. It's pretty cool. Take me down to like June or July, roughly. Okay, actually no. I watched one in December, and there's 6 more to go. I'd be done in May, right? I'm not sure how many episodes there were. There might have been 8, maybe 9. I'm not sure. But I know it'll take me to May, June, somewhere around there. Then Northanger Abbey, or Northanger Abbey, Jane Austen again. That was a 2007 movie. Gave it 4 stars. Then I watched some weird movie called Naked Youth. There was no nudity in it, but it was called Naked Youth. I gave that 3 stars. Then I watched a Woody Allen movie, Crimes and Misdemeanors. I gave that 4 stars. A Woman Rebels. That had Katharine Hepburn in it. I gave that 4 stars. Then I watched another Woody Allen movie called Annie Hall. It was excellent. Gave it 5 stars. Then I watched an episode from the Philip Marlowe TV series. This episode was called Murder is a Grave Affair. And I didn't write a rating down here. I think I kind of remember the episode. I'd give like 3.5. I mean, it was good for what it was. Then I watched a bonus feature from the DVD from A Place in the Sun. This bonus feature was called Who Knew George Stevens, who was the director of A Place in the Sun. It was interesting. I'm not going to rate it. It was just people talking about him. Interviews. Then I watched a movie called Dulcy, Dulcy. I gave that 3.5 stars. I don't remember much. It was kind of cute. I remember liking it. 3.5 is fair. Beware My Lovely. I gave 3 stars. Love and Death, another Woody Allen movie, 5 stars. Then I watched the biography of Audrey Hepburn. I gave that. It was called The Fairest Lady from the Biography Channel, and I gave that. I didn't really rate that. It was a biography, but I'll give it 4 stars. Out of the Blue, 1947 movie. So I think there might be more than one movie called Out of the Blue. I gave 4 stars. And then I watched, it's funny now that I see what I wrote here, I started off the month with Persuasion by Jane Austen. That was 2007, and I ended the month with Persuasion, the 1995 version. That version I gave 3 stars. Excuse me, 3 stars. That one has Amanda Root, I think is her name, as the lead female character. And all throughout the movie, she's got like this weird expression on her face. It just, I didn't understand why. She almost had like no character changes. It was just the whole movie was just the same look on her face, like dazed and confused, and I couldn't figure out why that was the whole thing for her. The other movie I thought was just more compelling. This wasn't bad. It didn't compare to me. Also, the relationship between the 2 leads, the Anne character and the Captain Frederick Wentworth character, I felt like this movie didn't really make sense. They just, like, why were they together? It was like just because they had to be for the movie. Whereas the other movie I felt made it more like understanding for the viewer why they came together. That's my memory of it. In this version from 1995, I felt they just kind of like didn't really give reason for the viewer to understand why they were together. But you know, a lot of people liked the movie. I'm not saying it was bad. Just I thought the other one was better. So that is it for this video. We are again now in December. Tomorrow's already the 2nd. Can you believe it? Where's this month going already? That's it. Oh, we watch every Friday. We've been watching Farscape. We started, I guess, about 8 weeks ago. Tonight we watched the 8th episode. So 80 more to go. Plus, we'll watch the concluding movie in 2 parts, and that last part will end the last Friday in June 2019. Countdown to retirement to the end of Farscape. Using Farscape in the countdown. Pretty cool. Bye.